Let's take a look at order of operations. When building a formula, it's important to note how Excel computes the formula, that is, how it breaks down the syntax and does the computation. Let's try an example of this. Now in the example I'm showing here, it looks as though I'm taking the number 5, adding it to the number 3, giving us 8, and then multiplying that by the number 2, which should give us 16, but it doesn't. It gives us the number 11. The reason for this is that Excel will compute 3 times 2 first, giving us 6, and then adding that to 5. So in other words, the multiplication is done first. It has higher precedence than the addition operator over here. Looking at the table on the left-hand side, you can see this. Multiplication has a higher precedence than addition and subtraction. So when Excel computes this left to right, it sees 3 times 2 and multiplies that first and gives us the number 11. If I want to force this to compute the way I want, that is, I want it to compute the 5 plus 3 first, I can always place this in parentheses because parentheses are the highest of the order. So if I come back out here and place my 5 plus 3 in parentheses, it will evaluate the whole formula, and whatever's in parentheses it will do first. It will take this, make it 8, and then multiply that by 2, which will give me 16. Another slightly more complicated example of this would be to use the exponent along with the, say, multiplication or division symbol. If I come out here and take a look at this formula and I evaluate this, I see that the exponent here lives between the number 3 and the number 2. Well, exponent has the second highest precedence, so Excel will compute this first, 3 to the power of 2, which is 3 times 3, which is 9 essentially. And then after it finishes that, it will take the number 9 and divide that by 5 because the other two operators are plus and minus, which are the lowest on the food chain here. So it's going to go ahead and take the number 9 and divide that by 5, and whatever that value is, then it will just go ahead and go straight across and say 5 plus that number minus 1. Of course, at any time you can come out here and you can place a set of parentheses in here to force this to do a calculation first. Now in this case, it's going to go ahead and it's going to take 2 divided by 5 and then take that value, and the number 3 will be raised to that value. After that's resolved, then you will take 5, add that to that value, and then subtract 1 from it. So it's important to remember the order of operations whenever you're building formulas. In reality, the formula here would look something like this, where you'd be using actual cell references instead of whole numbers.